Hi everyone, I'm Laura from gosimpli.ca. Welcome. Today we are going to do a legs and glutes, lower body, floor stretches routine. So we're going to be down on the mat the whole time. This workout is for you, Stacy Ross. I hope that you enjoy it. Stacy loves to stretch just like I do. So I hope that you'll join us on a comfortable surface, and we'll get started in just a few seconds. Okay, we're going to start today with a butterfly stretch. So I'm just going to be seated on my mat here, bring the soles of my feet together, and then, try and lower my knees down. Sort of give them a gentle pull using my own muscle strength. And then if you want, you can even, I like to hold on to my toes. I don't know why, it's just comfortable. And then just sort of lean forward a little bit if you like that as well. So we're going to hold all of these stretches for about 45 seconds. And we'll have about 15 seconds in between to get into the next position. So if we're a few seconds behind or a few seconds ahead, that's just fine. Excellent. So next up, we're going to do a forward fold. So I'm just going to turn to the side and I'm going to put my legs straight out in front of me and adjust my shorts here. There. So I'm sitting nice and straight up on my sits bones with a nice straight back, and we're going to stretch forward, and you're going to go as far as you can. It might be here. You might be able to grab your toes. You might be able to wrap around your toes a little bit. And it might be different depending on the day. You may have worked some of your lower body muscles and they're very tight and you can't reach quite as far. Or maybe you haven't been stretching for a long time. I know it's winter here still in Canada, and a lot of us aren't as active as we often are in the warmer months. And so, the muscles just get sort of tight. And sometimes just being cold makes those muscles feel tighter. So just go where you can today. Okay, so next up, I'm going to open my legs out into a V. I'm going to go on a bit of an angle here so that I'm still mostly on my mat. So open up into a V. You might be able to go a lot farther than I am. You might have your legs closer together. It doesn't matter. And we're just going to start with our hands here, and we're going to lean forward a little bit. And as time goes by, we're just going to walk those hands out a little bit. And I have my toes. I can't point them very well, but you can point if you want, or you can flex them towards you and then walk a little bit further out. And again, as you're walking out, try not to let that back round. Try and keep it, nice and straight, and then see if you can walk a little bit further. And I can't go a whole lot more. I know some of you can get that chest right down to the ground. A little bit more. Excellent. Next, we're going to do something I call a frog stretch. So you're going to get up on your hands and knees, and you're going to spread your knees out wide to the side, but sort of let your toes come in. And then you're sort of just going to get as far down as you can. And for me, that's about right here. So I can come forward and then come down a bit, and that feels comfortable too. And you can sort of move it back and forth a little bit if that feels good for you, but is really going to put a lot of stretch on those inside upper thighs, like right in, sort of where the legs meet in the groin area. So don't push farther than is comfortable for you. You certainly don't want to pull any muscles. You just want to stretch them a bit. So if you're more comfortable up here, that's fine. Okay, and now we're going to do a pigeon pose. So it doesn't matter which leg. Just pull one leg forward and up underneath you if you can. And then lay it down and keep the leg behind you as straight as possible. And again, those of you, believe it or not, I do yoga almost every day. Just a short one, 10, 15, 20 minutes if I have lots of time. It's sort of my meditation time. And I used to not really like it. And I think, in all honesty, the reason I didn't like it was because I was never very good at it, because my muscles are very tight. But I'm getting better, and it feels really good once I got honest with myself and said, you know, well, actually, it does kind of feel good. Now I really enjoy doing it. So I do try to do a little bit of yoga every day, and I use it as my meditative time. So we're just going to switch legs here. I know some of you just sit and do quiet meditation in a quiet room, and that's a lovely way to do it, and that's great. For me, it works well to... Oh, I switched sides a bit early. So now we're just starting pigeon pose on the other side now, but if you've started like me, a little extra stretch is okay. I like a little bit of movement, and when I do yoga, I can get really sort of into that meditative sort of mind frame, and so it really helps to ease any of the anxieties that I'm feeling, and just sort of take some of the stress out of my day, and my muscles feel really good after. I don't do power yoga often. It's mostly just the hatha yoga and the stretches, and my body's really saying thank you to me for giving it that time. So it is definitely worth it for me. Okay, so next up we're going to do a seated quad stretch. So what I'm going to do is just sit sort of on one side, and I'm going to pull this leg behind me and grab these toes and just sort of pull those toes in a bit, and you'll feel a stretch along the front of your quadricep muscle. So you start almost, the other leg is almost like it's sitting cross-legged, and I'm just leaning off to the side and pulling this leg up. I know some of you can get, you know, those toes in towards the wrist and really sort of pull it in tight. Again, it's wherever your range of motion is. If you're feeling the stretch and it's way out here, that's fine. Your muscle is stretching. And if you're someone who is extremely flexible and you need to get your toes all the way touching your back before you feel the stretch, that's fine too. We're not all going to be the same. Our bodies don't look the same. So now, again, so it's sort of like you start cross-legged, and then you take the leg behind you and you grab those toes and you pull in. Okay? So our bodies are, they're not the same. We are not the same. And so not everybody's going to be holding the position in exactly the same spot. And that's fine. You do you. You go in the stretch where it feels comfortable for you. It feels really nice. It's hard for us sometimes with busy lives to take the time to slow down. And yet, our bodies always thank us when we slow down. And we can do so much more if we have taken the time. Okay, so now we're going to do a runner's lunge. I'm just going to stay facing this way. It doesn't matter which way you are down on the ground. So I'm going to put one leg up in front of me. We're going to do both. And then some of you may want to put your leg up for a runner's lunge. I'm going to keep mine down because it just feels nice. I have my hands on either side of my foot, and I'm actually just going to let my head drop, like just let it go. This feels really good along the front of the thigh again, which we have just stretched out with the quad stretch, but now we're getting a little higher up, a little deeper into the hip flexor as well as the quad. And I'm just going to push back onto my knee a bit, and I'm going to switch legs. So I'm going to bring the other leg forward. And again, you can push up straight if you want. It's definitely a really excellent deep stretch. But if you want to be a little more gentle like me today, I'm going to lower my knee down, hand on either side of the foot, and I'm just going to let my head rest. it? It feels so good on that hip flexor. We often sit a lot, especially right now, those of us who are still working at home or have decided permanently to work from home. We tend to sit a lot more. You know, you're not getting up and walking all the way down the long office hallway to go to the bathroom or to get a drink of water or, you know, to go and visit a colleague. Okay, so now we're going to do a wide leg squat. So you're just going to get up with legs pretty wide and then lower down. And you can keep your hands on the ground if you want, or you can raise them up and use your elbows to sort of push your knees further out. And so because we're not walking down to someone else's desk or to see people, it's all just over email or video conferencing. And our bathrooms don't tend to be way down the hall from where we're working. We're not getting as much movement, so we're sitting longer. And that can be very hard on the hip flexors, very hard on the muscles. And some muscles lengthen, like the back of our neck and our shoulder blades from hunching forward, and other ones get really tight, like our chest or our hip flexors from sitting, our quads. Okay, and now we're going to try and do a fire log forward fold. So this one is really challenging. So fire logs, you have your legs lined up on top of each other, and to be honest, I have even trouble just getting my legs together. If that is too challenging, if you can't even get in that position, just sit cross-legged and lean forward from a cross-legged position. If you can, stack your legs, then do that, and then try and go forward. Okay, and you'll feel an intense stretch along the sides of the legs and back into the side glutes. So we've got just a few more stretches here. This is about a 16-minute stretch video. And if you can take 16 minutes out of your day to really stretch your body, your legs will thank you. You will likely sleep better. Okay, and now we're going to do a figure four. You can do this either sitting or lying down. So if you want to do it sitting, just lean back on your hands, and you're going to take one leg and put the foot sort of up across where the knee is and sort of just lean into it. You can push into it a bit for a deeper stretch. And if you want to try this one lying down, then you can either just like this and sort of push away with your hand, or you can thread your knees through and pull it into you. Either way, all of those options work, and they all work well. So it's really just what's more comfortable for you. Now that I'm down here, I'm just going to stay here. And I will show you again on the other side how to get into all of those different positions. Okay, so just release that down. And then again, so you can be up seated and you just sort of cross that leg over. That's fine. And then if you want, you can push into it a bit. So push yourself up a little bit straighter. Or you can come down and just leave your legs as they are and take one hand and just push away a little bit as best you can. Or if you want it a little bit deeper, you can thread your arms through and underneath and then pull it in a little bit. All of those are good options. I just breathe deeply while I'm stretching. It's such a lovely feeling. I love to stretch before bed. I know some people really like to stretch in the morning. That's another great time to stretch. Excellent. And I think, oh, we have two more. Knock knee. This one is my favorite. So again, this is one that you can do sitting up, and you just put your legs out, to the side, and then let those knees fall in towards each other. And you can stay like that, or you can walk yourself down, and you can do this in a lying down position. So you just let those knees sort of cave in towards each other, and then just let that feel good. Let those hips sort of roll outward. Outward at the back and inward at the front, so they're just sort of rotating. And it's such a lovely feeling, or it's lovely for me. Excellent. We're going to do one more stretch, and we started with a butterfly, so now we are going to finish with a butterfly. So this time, bring your legs together and just let the knees fall open, and we'll do it lying down instead of sitting up. So you can, I just have my hands resting across my chest. If you want, you can put them overhead and just let those arms go in sort of a similar shape and let them really stretch out as well. I know we were all focused on the lower body here, but you can certainly add the arms at the same time and let them just stretch out as well. You may notice over time that those knees will, sort of relax a little bit further out. And that's fine, but this isn't a stretch that you need to pull into or try. Just let the muscles totally relax and let the legs fall where they will. Okay. I have one more timer set up, and I'm not sure why, because there's no exercise. It's simply the rest timer at the end. Thank you so much for joining me today and for joining Stacy. I hope that you liked this stretch video as well. If you have any video requests that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to make one for you as well. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this, and I hope to see you again soon.